in the early 60s, before I left Ofoma in 1963, if the tax police, black people are coming, all my uncles, they will run into the rubber plantation. Some will hide under their beds. Their women will stay in front of the house and their husbands are not at home. It was a terrible thing. And it was this taxation that destroyed entrepreneurship in Africa. Because you needed to go work for the white man to get his currency to pay his tax. Because the trade by barter, I experienced trade by barter, where we exchange goods for goods. I experienced it. The trade by barter, you didn't have the British currency. Manila had gone, cowries had gone. My grandfather used to have cowries in his waterside. So these are things we experience, and when we talk to you, cool down and learn. So women from Igbo women, Ibibio women, Andoni women, Ogoni women, and Ijaw women traveled from wherever they were to Oloko in Bende. If you imagine where Oloko is, to travel, an Ijaw woman to travel from the riverine area, the Andoni woman, the Ogoni woman, the Ibibio woman, travel down to Oloko. I've seen the square where they gathered. Liberty, freedom, independence, rights don't come on a platter of gold. Because the people oppressing you, black man oppressing black man, Indian oppressing Indian, European oppressing European, they believe that you don't exist. You are their property. You are like animals in their hands. And you must insist that you are human too, that you should be treated with dignity. And so, 1929 to 1931 in particular was the period of the Great Depression. And you remember the Second World War was around that same period too. So, the Great Depression, leave the Second World War. The Great Depression, things were hard. The British people, through the warrant officers, I will call their names, they decided to increase taxes, increase school fees. When businesses were down, the women couldn't trade, then they wanted to extend taxes to the women. The women said, no, we will not pay taxes. And then they excluded women from governance. Even till today, they excluded women from governance. The British thought that if they allowed women and men to be appointed into positions of leadership in the local administration, that it will lead to confusion. And so one day, one chief, Mark Emerua, who was an agent of the warrant chief, Okugo, went to the house of Wanyerua. I happened to have met the son of Wanyerua at Aba. My hospital was at number 59, Ekotekpene Road. And I had a residence at number 24, Ebema Street. So they created, Mr. Opaleke of Customs created a small gate that enabled me to pass through the number 57 to Ebema Street without having to go around help me, I help you through Jera Hotel to my house. And so one day, this man was unnecessarily agitative. So I was discussing with him. He told me, say my mother was the one who sparked the women revolt in Igbo land. So it was his mother that, or his grandmother, that one year Erua, that Mr. Mark Erua went there to go and harass. Said they wanted to count her goats and this, to tax goats. I don't know what's happening in the tax bill. I don't know what they want to tax. Tax goats, sheep, whatever. And the woman asked Emerua, he said, did your mother counted? Your mother, who is a widow, was she counted? And Emerua, black people, they transfer their aggression from the white colonialists to their fellow black people. So also it is after independence. We want to oppress those who are less than us in the system. He went and grabbed the throat of a woman. The woman was an Ungwa woman, and they don't play. Married to a Bende man. From Oloko, through Nchara Oloko, you can go to Ndi Olumpe, as I said, down to Ogbohim. So this Ungwa woman got angry and went to the village square in Oloko, where they were holding the meeting, women were holding a meeting, and reported the case to the women. And Chief Okugo came to the square to want to intimidate the women. And my friend's mother went to Chief Okugo, removed his cap from his head, threw his walking stick away. And that started the Aba women revolt. 10,000 women gathered in Charoloko. There is power of unity, of anger against oppression. Power of unity. And they gathered. You won't realize that NSAS started from this town where I'm resident, not far away from here. Just a few young men were harassed by police. Rumor went out that one of them died, even though he didn't die. That was what sparked NSAS protests in Nigeria in 2020. And so the women gathered and they started protesting. They would sit down, go and sit down in Okugo's house, sit down in their offices, sit down everywhere. Started peacefully initially. And then 2 women were shot dead. They went to block the road and they were shot dead. And the protest escalated. There were 3 women who were leaders, who helped to ameliorate the crisis. Ikonia is Ikonia. Then one Nedia and Wugo, they were the leaders of the protest. But when 2 women were killed, everything went haywire. District offices were bombed. So many things bombed. Women looted warehouses in Mbaosi, in this town where you have the Imo River crossing. I will remember it. They looted warehouses. Everything went haywire. Because if you don't allow peaceful change, you make violent change inevitable. You can't knock the child on the head and prevent the child from crying. However, Ikonia, Wanedia, and Wugo were very instrumental in keeping the protest very, very calm until violence. And you see it in Nigerian history. When the people are protesting, it is the government agents that come to provoke the people and turn it to violence and stimulate the violence. 55 women died subsequently. 55 women died. But it was not easy on the authorities. Our mothers don't fear. Our grandmothers don't fear. Remember Queen Amina of Zaria? Remember Emotan? Remember Margaret Ekpo?